Okay, you saw the thumbnail. They have their own shipping tape, that's good. Gotta diversify, I guess. Alright. First of all, I can't show it, but this thing's rather heavy. I didn't think it was going to be this heavy. I was like, the UPS guy came, so I went and got the box, and I was like, oh. Alright. So, comes in a nice black box. That's, of course, everything's got to be black. There you go. Like, I literally got it a few hours ago, and I just had time to unbox it now. It is the 9th, for posterity, it is the 9th of September, is the day before it comes out, but you pre-order it, you get it like early. Metallica is really good about getting on stage early, at least, right? Or at least on time. So, whoa, there you go. So, hey, if you have that kind of time, screenshot that, and there's everything that's in the box. I don't even know if you can read it, it's so small. Well, there you go. My gift to you. No, you cannot have anything else from this. People will ask, hey, can I have a copy of like, yeah, they slipped up. This should have been black too. I've seen black paper like that before. Okay. So let's take a look at that. Just the record itself, vinyl. It is funny if you've never heard of the Black Album, never heard of Metallica, and this is the first video you watch. No, that's not gonna happen. Okay, so vinyl, liner notes and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff in here. Sad but true vinyl. I watched the Jason Newsted unboxing of this, and I was like, okay. So you already kind of have an idea, right, everybody? It's all listed here. So this is Sad but True, Nothing Else Matters, Creeping Death, and Creeping Death Live, Sad but True. That's cool. It's a picture disc. It has the snake. I don't know. Oh, there you can see it perfectly on the camera. The snake and that, all that stuff, all the good stuff there. Live at Wembley Stadium. Sad but True. So this is the Freddie Mercury concert, right? Wembley Stadium. Yeah. Okay. Moving along. There is so much cool stuff in here. This is like when it came out in '91, right? So I was right in that age. I was just getting into being a teenager, and like all of this stuff. All this stuff was like relevant at the time, right? And it still is for me, at least, right? I just bought this big box with all this great stuff in it. Look at that. This is the Moscow. This is the, I think they play with AC/DC and all that stuff, you know. So this got a lot of, at this point, Metallica was Metallica like you know them. So they had the infrastructure to take pictures and to make all of this stuff for posterity, and to be able to keep it and to know that they're going to come back around to it at some point. So they have a lot of documentation now, really. So this card is the digital download card. The whole Metallica Napster thing's come up again because of was it the Woodstock thing? Anyway, it's weird. That was a point in time. That was before, after this. So this is one of the interesting parts of it. This is a copy of the lyrics that James wrote. So like Enter Sandman, all the songs basically, right? But it's interesting to see how he writes and how, but this is like one of the cool things that comes with it. It's like, oh, okay, you get a little more insight into just how it's all done. Not that you haven't had enough of Metallica doing that. I mean, we all know way more about Metallica than you ever think you would. But here are I remember Rip Magazine. Is Rip Magazine still around? Maybe. I don't know. I remember Rip. I remember when magazines like this were like the big deal. You would get a magazine and be like, oh wow, you got the magazine with Metallica on it, huh? That's how old I am. So these are really nice. It'd be kind of cool if it was the actual magazine, maybe. But that's a whole licensing thing, I'm assuming. Man, I'm like halfway through this stuff. This is like the hardback book. Oh, and then we get into the media. Okay. So this is all, like I was talking about the infrastructure. They actually had all of these people to take pictures of them, who were willing to take pictures of them. Let me get it in frame. I feel like I'm a kindergarten teacher or something like that showing you the book, but great stuff in here. Just all of the memorabilia from that time. And it was like a giant record. I mean, when this is like how old I am again. MTV would show at least one Metallica video an hour almost. That was back when they would show music videos and stuff. It was like a big deal. There, look at this. This is the bottom of it. I don't even know if I should take all this stuff out and talk. You get the idea, right? But this, there's 2 or 3 per. It's just a bunch of stuff. So one thing that I have is a Mac, and this is a MacBook that doesn't have any sort of media player, just USB-C and a headphone jack. So I had to go and buy like a third-party DVD, USB-C, so I could plug into there and actually use some of this media, because I bought the other ones and I'm like, oh, I need to rip all that stuff, blah, 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 and you never get around to it. It's always a pain. So, let me see, there's 3 here. You're gonna have, this is the outtakes, so I can actually watch it. Live and Germany. It's like a, wow, okay. So this is music. This is live from Germany, and then this is just the Black Album, the remastered Black Album, with all the good stuff in it. Underneath that is a lanyard, a metal lanyard. This is going to be one of those things that's going to take me a while to finally just work through all of this. And there was a point where, like, you would hear Enter Sandman or The Unforgiven or Nothing Else Matters multiple times a day on TV. It would almost get tiring to a point where you're like, I don't really need to hear that song right now. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me that's like that. But I don't know. Some of you get fatigued from a song, and it's like, okay, I get it. I know it's Metallica. I love them, but I'll sit this one out, Which you don't get that because you control how you watch it for the most part. I mean, like, if you listen to a Spotify playlist or something like that. Anyway, you kids don't have the problems I had. The Wherever We May Roam. It's a bunch of performances again. If you want to screenshot that and have at it. That's a pretty cool thing. So a lot of visual stuff, because at this point they were able to afford it, so they documented as much as they could. Belgium, and on the back it's Jason getting hit because I guess it was his birthday. They like to do that to each other. Live, just some more live stuff. I remember when you would see stuff like a picture like from a European magazine or something like that, and you'd be like, ooh, I've never seen that picture before. I don't know, do people still do that within the digital age? Because it would always happen with physical media, like books, mostly magazines though. it's weird how media is consumed now and how we go about it. So this is Sacramento. It's a whole concert. Wow. So there's just like a lot of, because I think this might have been before they started recording everything, but I think they were recording everything at this point. Day on the Green. This is when they did Day on the Green. This is a full set too. They always show. I think "Sad but True" is the song they always do, but everything's on there. That's great. This is like right after the album came out, I think. This is all reminds me of like being like a young teenager, like 12 maybe even. They remind me of that, and it's like, oh, and it all seems so important. I mean, to an extent it is to some, and maybe it's just a way to get through things, but this is, it's a part of a lot of people. Obviously, they sold a lot of these records, and a lot of people still go to Metallica shows. But it's interesting to see how, to look back on something that was just so ubiquitous. It was everywhere, and it was always, it still is to an extent, like Enter Sandman or something's always out. Always, like a baseball player runs to it or whatever. So, laminates. These are always the weird thing. I mean, they're cool, but it's like, okay, I guess if you have something to put it in or to show it off, but like 1993, that's funny. Oh, this is one of the, your name here, 666. That's funny. A friend the Guns N' Roses showed. All access. Some guitar picks. I think like that big one. I think that's a bass pick. I don't know. Play bass, but there's this, 3 picks in there. There's one that with the snake on it. I don't know if I'm guessing these were the ones they used at the time. Maybe I don't know. That I'm not clear on. There's one more stack in here. There's so much. That's so great. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap by a long shot, but you get a huge amount of just all kinds of stuff, material and different things that weren't released before. Pre-production rehearsals. So there's some of the stuff they put on YouTube already, which sounds interesting because it's like the guts, but it's not. It doesn't have the whole feel. You see how much production makes a difference. So riffs and demos from that. And the interviews. So like this is the one that's pretty interesting. You have them just being interviewed about whatever's going on at this time. So, and it all comes in that pretty black box. Is there anything on the back? Oh, everything's falling out. So, look at that. Can you see that? That's cool. That's a good way. That's a good way to end. So this was the Metallica box set. It just came out. It's going to take me a while to work through all this stuff. There's a lot of great stuff in it, so it's not cheap, but you get a lot for it. So you know what you're getting into, I guess. So long live Metallica.